Welcome to the big Fact FinTech quiz of the year. I'm Jakobiak. Now, April is what we're going to be looking at now, the top headline news stories that made April so special when it comes to FinTech. And April is also synonymous with Take a Wild Guess Day, and that is going to be really relevant for us as we try and decipher the biggest FinTech acronyms, and we try and answer that age-old question, is cash still king? Now, as a result, I'm joined by some of the kings and queens of FinTech. So can you please introduce yourself and your team names?
Veronique Constans. I'm also a freelance consultant. I work in FinTech, payments and crypto.
Fantastic.
So I'm John Ballantyne from ACI Worldwide. So at ACI Worldwide, we're very much a payments company and have been for 40 odd years.
What's your team name?
We went for European payments.
Okay, great. And this side, what's your name, team name?
FinWin.
FinWin.
Very nice. And yes, the same. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Vaughan and I run our commercial strategy at Innovate.finance. Innovate.finance is the membership organization for FinTech in the UK.
Yes.
I'm Harrie Vollaard, heading the corporate investment arm of the Rabobank called Rabobank Ventures. And we invest in FinTech startups as well agri-tech related startups. And especially the crossover between FinTech and AgTech is our sweet spot.
And before we kick off the game, just give us a snapshot of what 2018's been for you when it comes to FinTech. Has it been a good year?
It has been a great year. We've seen huge levels of investment continue to flow into this space, which is a great key indicator. Both institutions, startups, and everything in between are still thriving in the space.
We can almost close the 10th investment this year. So we have done 8 investments in the FinTech space and 2 of them in the agri space. So it's been a very good year.
And hopefully you're really on top of what happened in April specifically. So let's kick off the game. Question 1, we're going to talk about cash and the longevity of cash. What percentage of people do you think said that they can see a time when people will stop using cash altogether?
So how much time?
What percentage of people see a time where we'll have a cashless society?
50? Or do you think it's less than that?
No, about 80.
80, yeah? Okay. 80.
Wow. See a cash. Yeah. So let's go 60, 70%?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. We're going to say 60, 70, see a cashless society in the future. That future horizon, TBD.
Yeah, okay, so 60%.
Correct.
We're going for 80.
Okay, so love it, but unfortunately it's only 39%, although yeah, it's not bad. And 12% actually said they would never stop using cash. But of course, if you look at statistics, cash is dwindling. In 2006, it was used for 62% of transactions. In 2016, this fell to 40%. And by 2026, this is expected to be only 21%. So can you just tell us what you think about this, us moving towards a cashless society, starting with you guys?
Well, personally, I think it's going to be a lot more practical and it's going to help tracking transactions better, taxing better. It also makes us more reliant on technology, obviously, so we need to have strong systems, can make us more prone to cyber attacks, and we need to be careful who owns the infrastructure as well, if we're going to use only electronic cash.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the horizon. I think as digital payments overtook cash,
Yes.
kind of last year I think it was for the first time. I think people are searching out for those not only ways to pay digitally, but those alternate ways to pay as well.
Yes.
So it's those alternate payment methods that will actually drive kind of the digitization of cash over time. So I think that's definitely going to be what we see over the next 3 to 4 years, and like you say, really bring that number down.
Yeah.
Hopefully, where people see cash as a 1% that might be using it. But again,
do you agree on this side?
I think it's a really interesting one because it depends on where you're looking in the world. So I just got back from China, and where you pay, cash doesn't exist in China.
Okay.
You can't communicate and or pay for things really.
Yes.
for a common person without using internet payments. But there's a huge implication for society, and we're looking at that. So if we don't have cash, a lot of parts of society will be left out. There's importance at looking at that. And also, as you move away from cash, there's a whole infrastructure that supports cash.
Yes.
That needs to be looked at because we're spending a lot of money on it. So I'd say look at it from a global perspective because some countries, some parts of the world are leading more than others, and also from a societal perspective.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it really depends on where you live. You know, I arrived here in the UK yesterday without any cash with me, but you know, I have access to the public transport. I can get my food and my drinks whatsoever, and leave to the Netherlands without having any cash with me. But it really depends on where you live. So the Netherlands or the Scandinavian countries, you know, are well adopted to digital payments. So I think also in the foreseeable future you won't have cash anymore, or at least a limited amount of cash in the society.
Yeah, okay, so the four of you pretty much on the same page there. So question 2, fintech is booming and more money is being invested in fintech than ever before. In the first quarter of 2018, exactly how much money went into fintech from an investment point of view?
I should know this. I think it's 13.5 million.
Yeah, so halfway it was 25 billion.
$500 million kind of mark, do you reckon, over the first 3 months?
We would say, given the fact that the stat I believe in the last half, is that right?
Yes, first quarter.
First quarter, we'd say 13.8 billion to be precise.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we were $500 million.
$500 million.
Billion.
Okay.
$500 million.
Billion.
All right. Okay. So the right answer is $5.4 billion.
Okay.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. A humongous 327 deals contributed to this amount, and European funding hit a 5-quarter high. What are your thoughts on this? Are we going to see more and more of this? Is this just the beginning?
Well, last year, just into the UK alone, it was 1.8 billion.
Okay.
So that's an interesting contrast to the bigger number.
Yes.
And that was basically bigger than the combined investment into Europe, full stop.
Yes.
It was actually ahead of China last year, so it'll be interesting to watch.
In the UK?
The UK was,
Okay.
in terms of VC-backed investment. So
Yeah.
it will be interesting to watch the numbers this year. We're seeing really strong, as we've mentioned, really strong indicators that replicate that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are actually two factors. The fintech ecosystem matures more, so you get more mature companies, which means higher valuations, and that's also the second factor, that you see a lot of money is poured into the ecosystem, not only by venture capitalists, but more and more also by corporate investment arms, and so you see actually also higher valuations of companies.
Yeah.
I'll add to that, which is actually just to say that's just venture backing.
Yeah.
If you look at the holistic picture, it would be very interesting, both from a corporate's perspective, private money, and if you look at something like Monzo, which just did a crowdfunding in their Series E. So you're really seeing diversified pools of capital come to fintech.
Yes. It's just the beginning. What do you guys think?
Personally, I think obviously the more venture capital into the market, the more new companies are going to emerge, or the more new ideas are going to come to the market. And from a user perspective, then that's amazing news, because it means more competition. It means incumbents are getting disrupted. They're needing to innovate as well. It's better service, better variety of service, so everyone wins.
Yeah. Okay, really fun round. Take a look at this picture. This David Schwimmer was in the news, but both times for a case of mistaken identity. Which were the 2 times he was in the news for a mistaken identity? Do you know the 2 stories?
No.
Okay, so the first one is because another David Schwimmer became the CEO of the London Stock Exchange, but a lot of people thought that Ross from Friends had an incredible career change. And the other one is that Ross from Friends was caught on a camera stealing in Blackpool, but of course it wasn't Ross from Friends. This is obviously a funny story, but it is a serious topic. that fintechs need to be aware of? What do you guys think?
Facial identity, that's an interesting one. How good will facial identity go to? I thought you were going to go in the direction of he had been promoting Bitcoin and got arrested, because we've seen that in the US this week.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
There are a lot of celebrities that are promoting fintech.
Yes.
Investing into fintech, etc. So I'm surprised Ross from Friends isn't in fintech.
Yeah, exactly.
What are your thoughts?
Well, my brother has actually pretty much same story.
Yeah, okay.
He really looks like the prince of the royal family in the Netherlands.
That's a good one. So we always
So he
get
could
a table.
actually make advantage of that, walking into the restaurants, but because he studied actually in the same city as he did.
Oh, really? For the VIP treatment?
Yeah, exactly.
That's very nice. Yes.
Yeah, I just think there's so many ways now that you can, authenticate yourselves, whether it's by biometrics or other ways, that this kind of aggregation of data is going to be so important, and how you actually secure that is really what is going to need to be thought about a lot more in the future, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you said, it would be funny to see Ross from Friends investing in fintech. That would be great. In the context of adopting a cashless society and the wireless digital society, obviously, identity theft remains a big threat, and a lot of identity companies are coming up to market, and obviously managing that and the risk of that should be on everyone's mind, especially in financial services.
Yeah. I thought you were going to actually ask. They've talked about a contactless coffee cup this week, so maybe he was going to bring it to the what's the coffee shop in
Central Perk.
Central Perk.
Central Perk.
There you go. Contactless payment in Central Perk.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, well, obviously Ross from Friends has a lot of career options there. Now, last question. Facebook Messenger has launched P2P payments. Instagram is looking into commercial payments. Which other online company is also looking into this?
WeChat already does payments via their messaging app.
That's true.
I've seen recently that you can even send a payment to someone via your Gmail account.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I think
WhatsApp as well.
You should that was the correct answer, but those are very good answers. So yes, the Amazon is looking at enabling this via Alexa, but of course they tried to do this 4 years ago with WebPay. It wasn't successful, so they're hoping that this time it will be better. So that's our round, but before we go, I just want to give you all a couple of minutes to promote yourselves and your company. I know you already introduced yourself, but just give a bit more info what your company is all about.
Yeah, so we're really looking into fintechs who are disrupting the financial industry and building out a sustainable, future-proof financial system. And if you're a fintech and you like to collaborate with us, please reach out to us. And please reach out to us.
I'll go next.
Yes.
Innovate.finance is kind of the hub of the fintech community. So we're really here to educate, facilitate, create transparency, create social good.
Yes.
Every one of our members is there to do something to help society in one way or another. So competition's been great to bring it into the market. We hope that people come join us because we think as a collective it's strong together. And I'll do a little plug, which is like the event that we're at today. In April, we are having our global summit. So across the world, we love people to come into town.
It's a great event.
And this week it's launching UK FinTech Week. So we have a lot of counterparts that are supporting that as well. And we hope volume and quantity increases. And if you ever were going to do something in FinTech, come that week to be involved.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so at ACI Worldwide, we're very much a payments company and have been for 40 odd years, facilitating banks, financial institutions, merchants, across the whole sector really. And we facilitate those payments across the whole ecosystem, from the merchant, the acquirer, through to the schemes and into the issuing world as well. But as we continue to support those, we've got to think about what the technology changes are coming through. How do we support them with new technologies such as the open source databases, and then obviously we've got cloud now as well, and how aspects like that can really drive down some of that TCO for our corporates. But again, look at those new technologies as well. I mentioned immediate payments, instant payments as well.
Yep.
So again, it's that digitizing of cash, and the more we can do it, the more we can be successful across the board really.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic.
From my perspective, I've been observing the market and learning about it for the past 10 years in fintech, so I'm very interested in gaining more knowledge and sharing my knowledge. So any opportunity that there is for that, or for any good fintech debate, then I'm your gal.
Brilliant. So thank you so much for taking part in this quiz. It's a tie. But that's a great thing.
Everybody wins in fintech.
Okay, yeah, everybody wins in fintech. Thank you so much for joining us in this quiz about April. And thank you all for watching. And up next is May.